Let's take a second to imagine this scenario. Imagine you and your spouse and growing family has finally saved up enough money to buy your first home, and you also look out because your dream home is up for sale. So you place a bid, and against all the others you win. Now you move in, and immediately strange, absurd, and terrifying things start happening.
Hi, can I help you?
Sorry, you're just such a beautiful woman.
I think you have the wrong house.
Oh, you really just like to get right into things, huh?
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Hey, what are you doing? Cheer up, you really do like to put up a fight. Come here. Hey. I was gonna hoping you'd be wearing a dress. It's a little easier on me, huh? Jesus Christ! Don't say it's a mistake. You're gonna get on me.
I'm so excited to welcome you all back to Crime and Wine, and if it's your first time here, then my name is Ariona, or Ari to the YouTube fam, and I cover true crime stories that have inspired the making of movies. If by the end of this video you've enjoyed today's content, then please like and subscribe, hit the bell button, and leave a comment below. Now, grab your glass of wine and let's get into today's case. The movie Aftermath was released in 2021 on Netflix and stars Shawn Ashmore and Ashley Greene. Where's all my Twilight fans at?
They're coming for us.
The synopsis reads, as a young couple struggling to stay together, they are offered an amazing deal on a home with a questionable past that would normally be beyond their means. And in a final attempt to start fresh, they take the deal. Desperate to save their marriage, a young couple take a deal to move into their dream home. But they soon find out that the house has a troubled history and disturbing events that start to make them question their decision. This is the true crime story about the Kathy Rowe case.
This woman, once voted one of San Diego's best moms, is facing prison time over what she calls a childish prank. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Itika Milanes in tonight for Steve Atkinson. Prosecutors say Kathy Rowe tried to have another woman sexually assaulted.
Rowe called this Carmel Valley house her dream home. When another couple bought it, prosecutors say she made their life a nightmare.
The house at the center of this case is located in San Diego's Carmel Valley neighborhood. A little bit about the Carmel Valley neighborhood. Aside from it being in one of the most beautiful cities and a personal favorite of mine, San Diego, California. But most of these homes are fairly new, with the majority of homes being built between the 2000s and now. The average household income is just above $199,000 a year, and the local parks are just absolutely beautiful. The specific home of this case, though, is a Spanish-style house with 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a pool. The house was originally listed for $699,000, and there were reportedly 8 offers on the property. Jerry Rice and Janice Reuter ultimately won the bidding war and purchased the house in 2011 for $430,000 above the asking price. Jerry Rice was a former competitive swimmer who teaches special education classes for kids with autism, and Janice Reuter was a microbiologist at a children's hospital. At the time that all this had taken place, they had 1 child and a newborn baby on the way. I believe she was actually like 9 months pregnant already, and she gave birth soon after moving in. Shortly after moving into their new beautiful home, a string of horrific and unsettling events began to occur. Kathy Rowe was a 53-year-old woman at the time of these events, and while there is little to no information found about her upbringing, childhood, or personal life, we do know that she has a daughter named Rachel, who was born with severe disabilities including cerebral palsy and blindness. Rachel requires around-the-clock care, and Rowe was her primary caregiver. It was also said that Rowe had a husband who was very ill, and also, Rowe actually at one point even won a Mother of the Year award for being the sole caregiver. Rowe had previously worked as a county employee, but she was fired in 2007 after it was discovered that she had used the county resources to create a fake MySpace profile to harass a coworker. She's the one that is behind harassing this family over the fact that they outbidded her on this house. And as she says, she lost her dream home and became very devastated over this. So there's a lot that takes place, so I'll lay it out like a timeline, so hopefully you guys can follow along. In August of 2011, Kathy Rowe began her campaign of harassment against Jerry Rice and Janice Rutter, ordering thousands of dollars of unsolicited magazines, books, and junk mail to be sent to their home, and some of this even contained pornographic content. It's unclear how exactly she was purchasing all of this without Jerry and Janice catching on at this time. In October of 2011, Rowe began posting online ads advertising sex with Janice and inviting strangers to come to their house during the day. Kathy Rowe actually placed a Craigslist ad soliciting sexual encounters with strangers at the couple's address, posing as Janice Rutter. The ad featured explicit photos and described Rutter as a kinky fetish nurse. Within a few days, numerous men arrived at the couple's home, hoping to take advantage of the supposed opportunity.
I'm going to leave out the dirty words here. This is someone pretending to be you. I'm pretty much home all day, every day, bored and incredibly horny. I love to be surprised and have a man just show up at the door and force his way in the door and on me, totally taking me while I say no. Janice, what is the person who is writing this trying to do to you?
She wanted me raped.
This is my wife they're talking about. There's no mistaking the intent there.
Then, for the Rices, the ultimate nightmare. Another man did show up at the house, only Janice wasn't home. Jerry met him at the front door. He thought he was going to walk in and have his way with your wife.
Yeah, I knew something was off with the guy.
In the public court case online, we read the following. The people filed an amended felony complaint against Kathy J. Rowe, alleging, among other charges, 1 count of solicitation to commit forcible sodomy and 1 count of solicitation to commit forcible rape. At a preliminary hearing on the charges, the prosecutor presented evidence showing Rowe, impersonating the victim, posted an online advertisement entitled Carmel Valley Freak Show, offering adult entertainment of all types while the victim's husband was not home. The crazy, and for me at least, the most frustrating part of this was Kathy's response in regards to this.
You didn't give this guy the picture for the neighbors. No. You didn't get him to go to the door for the neighbors. You got him to go to the door for her.
Correct. It was the Craigslist ad that was for the neighbors. I had done that in April, and I did that again in June. In April, I never got any kind of responses. I wasn't expecting to in June. When I got the emails, that was unexpected, and then it became sort of fun emailing back and forth with these guys because I was anonymous.
You weren't anonymous, you were an alter ego for this innocent woman in this house, and you sent a man to her door.
Right, I totally accept responsibility. That is what I did. At the time, my communication with them was not so much dealing with her, it was really focusing on the conversation with the men, having fun, telling them all kinds of ridiculous things.
Ridiculous things like, you said, I think I said something in our correspondence like, quote, I like it when men come through the door, take me even if I say no.
Correct.
Is that not predicate to rape?
While men did show up to Jerry and Janice's home, luckily nothing happened. The first man that showed up was unable to get in, thankfully, because of a locked gate, And the second man was surprised when Janice's husband answered the door. Can you imagine though? Like, she was so fortunate. Imagine what could have happened. I don't even want to, but moving on. In November 2011, Rowe began sending emails to Janice's colleagues and friends accusing her of having affairs with multiple men and spreading sexually transmitted diseases. December 2011, Rowe created a fake Facebook account in Rice's name and sent friend requests to his female friends and acquaintances. Apparently, Rowe also sent a letter to the couple's home, threatening to burn it down with them inside. January 2012, the couple installed a security camera system capturing footage of Rowe driving by their home and throwing objects onto their lawn. And then in February of 2012, Rowe sent Valentine's Day cards to neighboring women, pretending to be Rice and inviting them to come to his house during the day. Rowe also began sending emails to Janice's family members, revealing personal information about her past and making false claims about her character. April 2012, Rowe created a fake email account in Rudder's name and sends sexually explicit messages to a man, leading to a harassment charge against Rudder. The court files also show other harassment, which included Rowe listing the victim's home for sale, putting a hold on the victim's and the victim's husband's mail, having a county assessor's office employee contact the victim and the victim's husband about reassessing their home, having members of religious groups visit the victim's home, and then posting an online announcement for a high school New Year's Eve party at the victim's home. And then lastly, posting an online announcement for a free Mexican fireworks giveaway at the victim's home on Independence Day. I don't know, that's just crazy. I really have no clue, first, why someone would go to the extent of doing all of this, and then two, how the family could put up with this for so many months. It's so sad because remember, while all of this was going on, Janice had just given birth and she already had another small child in the home. When law enforcement officers traced the acts to Rowe and interviewed her, she initially denied committing any of these crimes. She later admitted committing the acts and referred to them as pranks and denied any intent to harm the victim or the victim's husband. I am extremely interested in hearing your guys' opinion about whether you think she intended to harm this family or not, specifically in regards to the Craigslist posting to have men force their way on Janice Rudder, because this was the main argument of the preliminary hearing. At the conclusion of the preliminary hearing, the magistrate or judicial officer said in regards to the charge of solicitation of forcible rape, he said, "I just don't find that I have a strong suspicion that there was specific intent to cause the first man to commit any kind of a rape." The magistrate then considered count 2, the charge of solicitation of forcible sodomy, and he said, as to count 2, there is some language that would involve force, the enter even though I say no, go ahead, but I don't think that's based on everything I've heard that was the specific intent in the defendant to cause someone to do that. Furthermore, the magistrate concluded that both of the men that showed up at Janice's house considered defendants' solicitations to be for voluntary, not forcible sex. In the closing transcript of the preliminary hearing, we can read that the court went on to say that out of the numerous solicitations made by the defendant to both men, all were for voluntary consensual sex and none were for forcible sex. While Rowe was initially charged with 2 counts of soliciting rape and sodomy, those charges were later dismissed by the court during the preliminary hearing. However, she did plead guilty to a felony stalking charge and was sentenced to a year of home electronic surveillance, 5 years of probation, and ordered to stay away from the couple for 10 years. During the trial, it was also revealed that Rowe had a history of psychiatric issues and had been hospitalized multiple times for mental health treatment. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and was taking medication for her condition. In addition to her harassment of Jerry Rice and Janice Rudder, Rowe was also known to have a history of making false police reports and filing lawsuits against neighbors and businesses. According to various sources, including an interview with Kathy Rowe herself, she purchased a new home for her family, which is located just 1 mile away from Jerry and Janice's home. And Jerry and Janice in recent interviews have stated that they still live in fear due to the fact that she's still so close to home and she did so many awful things to her. But, you know, they're trying to live their best life currently right now. They have had a couple interviews with Dr. Phil and 2020. So you guys can definitely go check those interviews out. You can also read the public court case that I quoted some parts from online. But yeah, this is a really unfortunate case to have happened, but we hope the best for the couple moving forward. Thank you guys so much for joining me back here for another episode of Crime and Wine. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, then please hit the like and subscribe button, and I would really love to hear your thoughts on today's case, so please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, head over to all my social media platforms to connect with me. I would love to connect with you and get to know you, and you can also see this month's review of the wine. So thank you guys so much. See you back here next week.